Let's earn some Chivos, dudes!
You know what I'm gonna say right here? Just really quick, and I think it's important. Apparently, the chat is letting me know of a very hilarious fact, which I think Viral and myself and D-Pad can take advantage of. Draco, your mic is muted on the stream, so we're hearing you, and nobody else is.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me!
Pretend like everything you've just been saying has been completely disgusting and rude, and nobody's gonna know the whys.
I'm gonna blame my Naga mouse because I had it set the live stream before I restarted my computer.
Whoops!
So
Oopsie!
You and nobody can hear you.
Oops, that kind of sucks.
Well, I guess we should start over.
You wanna take it from the top?
Nah.
It's fine, it's
Okay,
fine.
we can just run this down. Okay, Konami Code is old, and so is Draft. Okay,
And Draco.
Okay, and the MLG tournament. Let's see here. The StarCraft, they were map hacking. That's what you said.
Yeah, map hacking. And Total Biscuit said this a little while ago. It's one of those things where it's looked down upon just in general play and general ladder play. It's against the rules technically, and they go to MLG and the Blizzard tournaments and they map hack there. And the fact that they got away with it. Not just one match, but several matches past the start of the tournament is beyond. It's beyond disgusting in a competitive game world.
It's like the Chinese gymnastics all over again, basically.
Well, at least they had a good opener.
Oh.
Yeah, no, Saber's got me playing that game recently. I mean, I actually don't know what map hacking means. Does that mean like creating minerals on the map or something? I mean, what does it do?
Map
Take
hacking.
off all the fog.
Map hacking can be several different things. One can be taking off the fog, and another one could be making obstacles invisible to where you can't see what's blocking you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that seems kind of lame.
Yeah, now, as far as the punishment this guy got, the main player that was responsible for it, not only is he banned from the tournaments, he also had his ladder account locked down.
Oh no, he can't start another one. Yes, he can.
Oh yeah, he'll just smurf. Grr.
Oh yeah, what every Blizzard, disgraced Blizzard player does. Make a new account!
It's about like banning people in League of Legends. It doesn't work unless you IP ban them, because if you just ban their account and start up a new one,
I mean, you can change your IP address, but I mean...
Well,
depends.
I don't know.
It's hard to ban people on the internet. Let's just put it that. There's got to be a better way of disgracing them, though.
Well, disgracing a player is another thing. Disgracing a name like Twin Galaxies is different. You can now submit your scores for internet highlights, like, playing a game and getting a certain high score or getting certain achievements for a price.
This is so stupid.
Dude.
That's...
They're getting paid. They're getting paid to do this. And then they're...
those people who back in the day, I don't know if it... Okay, I don't know who was able to do this. I saw it done, though. Minesweeper, not Minecraft, Minesweeper, where you could go and you could enter in your best scores or whatever. So I remember some guy had hacked his Minesweeper or whatever, so it said, like, that he had 1 second on Expert. I mean, there's no, like... I don't know, it just seems lame to do that.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I know about Twin Galaxies, really, to be honest with you, because I live in the Midwest. There's no real big arcade communities around here that I know of. I'm going to repeat that I know of. Especially in southeastern Indiana. It's the only reason why I know about Twin Galaxies is because of King of Kong's Fistful of Quarters. The Billy Mitchell and, oh god, what's his name? I can't remember his name now.
What's that?
Can't remember the guy's name that was trying to challenge Billy Mitchell's record in Donkey Kong.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what's his face, yeah.
And what's his face? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
It was a good movie. It kind of leaned against Billy, but really, to be honest with you, Billy is a jerk. If you ever meet him in real life, he can be nice at first, but if he gets nothing from you, advantage-wise, there's no reason for him to even look at you, and it's kind of silly, really, to be honest with you. He acts...
There's some sense of entitlement for playing Donkey Kong.
Well, if that's your one thing in life, that you're the best in the world at this one thing, and then somebody comes and challenges that and potentially does better, you're really, I guess he must be feeling like challenged that like the one thing he's good at is suddenly no longer good enough. I don't know.
So you mean it's the same complex why people buy, giant oversized cars?
That's called middle age.
I was going to say compensating, but that works too.
Aren't you getting close to that point, Draft?
Oh.
Okay, hold on.
Oh,
I think
boy.
I'm already past it because about 6 years ago, I did buy a big, oversized, gas-guzzling muscle car, and it's been sitting in a garage for 5 years. But anyway.
That's the point. Alright, on to the next topic here. Yogscast was taken down by a random person going around flagging a lot of accounts.
Gee, that's never happened before.
Yeah, they were flagging him as being ran by a 13-year-old, which means it's a breach of the TOS, and the automatic takedown process immediately took down Yogscast, which takes in literally millions of pounds a year.
Mm-hmm. And I'm no expert on this, but I'm pretty sure the staff at Yogscast are over 13.
I'm pretty sure a couple of them are over 30.
The problem is, when you hear Simon screaming sometimes, you might think he's 12.
Diggy hole!
I imagine that crew must be really ticked off, because when you've got that level of viewership and you're monetized on YouTube, that means hours of being down is fewer views, which means fewer dollars.
Exactly.
It's a business at that point.
It is a business. And
Yeah.
Who knows how many thousands they lost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
YouTube's
it's
not going
true.
to get out of this one.
I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. The automatic takedown process, I think that started, in late 2007? No, late 2008 when they started doing ID tagging, I think. Can't remember exactly.
I think they were more recent than that.
It's not a new process, but it was manually done. It wasn't really automatic. It was kind of like... It would flag and send an email to somebody. It wasn't really automatic. Now this one, it automatically flags it, sends it to a machine, and the machine takes it down.
So basically now we've just got a faulty identification system and a whole bunch of YouTube T2s.
Yeah. Kind of sucks.
Just a little bit.
Okay, speaking of interesting, there's a game recently, Dragon's Crown, that's been getting a lot of flack because one of the major stars that they released on the video game, one of the lead characters, is a witch, which is very well endowed.
The booby sorcerer?
Yeah, the booby sorcerer.
I think they did send out a formal apology for that.
They sent out a formal apology, and they're not gonna change her, really, to be honest with you. And
No,
really, that's their right. It's their art. I mean, some guy had to draw that, and not every character's like that. Case in point, I don't know what she is, but the woman that's drawn there on the banner is not so well endowed. But yeah, but the art is amazing.
Oh, it's very well done art. It's just that, with the one spoiler image they pushed out, it just kind of seemed like they were pandering to the lowest denominator.
Oh, there was one tweet. I can't remember what it was. They linked it. It was, the guy Kotaku was complaining. So, the lead artist on this game actually sent a Facebook message to him and said, I guess this is more your style, and it showed 3 burly dwarves, holding each other closely.
It's pretty good.
I love game devs with a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're marketing this. They're marketing it to fans of anime. Heaven forbid they show well-endowed women in an anime setting, right? Like that's never been done before.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like that one MMO where literally the whole point of it is, it's not really original, it's not, particularly good. It's just, it's entirely women in bikinis, and from there the armor only gets skimpier. That's the whole point of the
God,
game.
you're talking about that one MMO that came out from Perfect World Games or something like that?
Yeah,
No, Area.
that's the
Area. I don't know what you're talking about. And I played that for 5 minutes. I was like, I don't know whether I need an adult to watch this or what. But
Well, Draco, you are over 18, so...
but I'm a baby dragon.
You are a baby dragon, that's true.
Anyway, on to some more good art. NCSoft. I play a lot of NCSoft games, including Ion, which has really good art.
Start to get on Ion.
The John Wong is a really good artist with NCSoft, and he's done a lot of concept and background art for a lot of their games. I'm just going to go ahead and scroll through a few of them, and really, to be honest with you, if Korean MMOs do anything right, it is art.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the creative licenses they do, just look at, stuff like Guild Wars 1 and 2. Some of those cities and ruins were amazing. And then there's the towering peaks of Ion, which are just incredible. I've not played the game, but I've seen enough of the trailers just to get a kind of sense to it, and it's beautiful.
Hold on, guys. Nash doesn't understand the boob selling point.
Nah, he just don't. Don't even try.
Ignore him.
Okay. I would say this. I actually had a conversation a day or two ago with somebody about whether or not scenery and visuals in video games are more important than, the playability of the game. Where does the role of scenery in a game, increase the quality of something? Because, and I took that, when I was discussing it with him, I was saying, well, and I didn't really have a position, but I was thinking, okay, well, what if there was a really crappy game that was utterly gorgeous? Would it then be still a crappy game? You know what I mean? Where does that balance lie?
That's kind of what Crysis tried to do. Hey guys, look at our graphics and subpar gameplay.
Final Fantasy 13. Beautiful game. 2 hours into it after Soxy and I got it. We're still in the tutorial level.
Hey.
There's a 20-hour tutorial.
I don't know. I think there's a certain value to something that... okay, I remember when Wind Waker first came out, and I'm sure a lot of us had the same feeling with this, was that, this looks really cartoony, it's crappy because it's a Zelda game on the Cube, but why isn't it looking more realistic, And I thought this is going to be a crappy game, and it turned out to be one of the best Zelda games I've ever played, and the more simplified cell-shaded art style really worked for them. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they absolutely did. Even with the HD re-release coming out, they're still sticking with the art style. They're just kind of padding it a little bit.
I really want to see... Okay, my favorite scene in that I wanted to say movie. in that game is... And this isn't too big of a spoiler, is when you go to Hyrule under the water.
For the first time?
Yeah.
And
everything's frozen in black and white. That was so cool.
That was super cool.
And again, though, that was more simplified graphics than, say, what they did with Twilight Princess later, which is even funnier as a title now.
Yep.
And that game was brilliant. It was amazing. But I remember going into that thinking, okay, I've got a GameCube. I paid to have higher resolution graphics. This game must be worse because it doesn't have higher quality graphics, but it turned out that it was a better game than I expected. I don't know.
Or you can think about it this way. Because they had, not top-tier graphics, that allowed extra processor power, to get more enemies on screen, further view distance, more complex cities, blah, blah, blah. Because, they're not doling out all this processor power for the shine and polish.
Yeah.
This is true, and to kind of I don't want to say help, but to kind of prove one point of Nash's, boobs don't always sell, but the fact is they do sell. Xenosaga is a good game. Xenosaga had some really great graphics, it had some really great scenery.
Some really great graphics.
But really great graphics, sorry. It had some really great graphics, and I want to say that as a pause because it's a giant freaking movie. That's all it is. There's 5 minutes of gameplay, you take a step, another 13-minute cutscene. It's horrible. And they're unskippable, so...
Oh, boy.
But
don't lose your save.
See, now, I've been playing a lot of... Well, I've beat Ni no Kuni, and that game, I think, is a great balance where the gameplay is really solid, but it sold itself as a Studio Ghibli game, and that's what it is. And their artwork and their style and their cutscenes, for me, set that game apart.
Yeah.
Well, it's Studio Ghibli. I mean, they're gonna have really good cutscenes.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Well,
But
The Witcher 3, we're going to move on to The Witcher 3. Witcher 3, they said they're not going to do any DRM this time around because it doesn't work. Well, now they're saying no QuickTime events.
Thank God!
Well, here's the thing. Back in Witcher 2, the QuickTime events just felt so out of place. Boxing or, doing these other things where, seemingly out of the blue, you'd get this, little thing that'd pop up on your screen. If you didn't get it, you'd fail. Now, The Witcher is the type of game where if you're not careful, you're going to screw up your whole story. So basically these QuickTime events could screw you up for the entirety of the game later if you weren't careful.
It's a good idea. Some QuickTime events are fun because it kind of involves the player a little bit. I like the way that Final Fantasy 13 put QuickTime events into some of their cutscenes, so it kind of included you into the cutscene instead of you just putting the controller down and moving away. But I don't like the way that God of War did cutscenes. Or not cutscenes, QuickTime events, rather.
No. As far as cutscene QuickTime events, Resident Evil was devious with them. You're watching this cool battle about to take place between, in 4, what was that, Leon and, who's the guy with the Krauser? And I'm watching this, I'm getting ready, and then QuickTime event pops up. My GameCube controller is on the other side of me. I'm like, oh god, so I just get to watch Leon get eviscerated. I'm just like, dang it! So you could at least give me some forewarning before you throw a QuickTime event in my face.
Yeah, they can be interactive or you can just be overburdening. I mean, there's some QuickTime events, like in Bayonetta, for instance. Bayonetta's QuickTime events where they have you tap a button or rotate a joystick. I feel like I'm playing Mario Party.
Okay, good example of QuickTime events would be something like the new Tomb Raider, where, in some of the finishers or special moves, you have to use QuickTime events. Or in certain sequences when you're falling and still, actively controlling, there's a QuickTime event for a specified action. Now that makes sense because, you see an obstacle in front of you and you're preparing for something. While a QuickTime event in the middle of a cutscene, you usually, are kind of relaxed because you're not involved in gameplay as much. So it catches you off guard and you could end up losing your save.
True. I mean, it's one of those things where if a QuickTime event doesn't punish you harshly, it just kind of affects gameplay a little bit, doesn't change massively how the game ends. I like it, but if it hurts you the way that was it Witcher 2's was? No.
Oh yeah.
No, I can't say that.
Or another that has bad QuickTime events, the Forbidden Metroid game.
Nope, not talking about it. Moving
on. Mass Effect. Just gonna leave it there. Mass Effect. Paragon moment, Renegade moment. Those were fun QuickTime events.
Okay, Divinity Original Sin is successfully kickstarted. You know what that means? Boom, we're getting a game.
Yep.
Oh, PayPal isn't gonna hold the money?
Oh, true.
True. I really, to be honest with you, Divinity, it's an interesting game.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're definitely interesting, but I feel like they missed the mark with 1 and 2 and Eco Draconis and all those ones. Very cool concepts, very cool universe, mediocre execution.
I would say less than mediocre. I mean, Neverwinter Nights 2 wasn't that popular, but it did better on execution.
Oh yeah, easily.
Alright, we're going to hurry up a little bit. Arkham Origins is reported to have multiplayer this time around.
Is that just going to turn into, Arkham... What is that? Arkham City Imposters? Gotham City... What's that game?
Gotham City Imposters? I don't
That's
know.
The one.
But you know what? I call Deathstroke!
Shoddy Black Mask.
Dang it.
You guys are terrible.
No, we're awesome.
Arkham Origins has Deathstroke this time around.
Black Mask confirmed.
Black Mask is confirmed. I'm kind of wondering if they're going to end it here or not. I mean, they've done what they said they were going to do with Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. It's kind of like, are they just milking this, or do they really have an extended story to tell?
Well, nobody really goes into the origins of Batman in video games. Usually they kind of focus on some big escapade. This is Blackgate. This is when Batman makes his real stand as a crime fighter during, the Blackgate riots with some of the single most dangerous individuals in Gotham City. Because, where Arkham Asylum is for the criminally insane, they're a threat because, they're insane. But the people locked up in Blackgate are the, super terrorists, Superman, almost Superman tier villains, and this is where Batman makes his stand. But where you were saying before about if they're going to end it here or not, usually when games go back to prequels, that means, they're either going to end it or they're starting to scrape together trying to get material.
Yeah. I don't know how I'd like that.
I'm still buying Origins, though.
True. Alright, guys, we got a little game review coming up here. I'm going to go ahead and pause the music, and we're going to cue it up and get it ready to go here. Anything we need to say before we go on?
Buy tacos.
Buy tacos? No.
You should talk about that NES game that was found.
We're going to talk about it afterwards.
We're going to get to it.
Oh, you're going to get to it after.
We're going to get to it after.
Sorry.
Review, not interview. Review, not interview.
You know what? Okay, you know what? Don't worry about it.
We don't worry about such things.
We can't worry about such things.
Do I have to get the cucumber?
That is behind us now.
Another dimension, another time and space. A parallel universe is falling on its face. When out of the chaos, who else could it be but the animal adventurers from SPACE? Bucky! Captain Bucky OHare! Mutants and aliens and toads beware! You're looking for adventure? Well, this is it! With Jenny, Deadeye, Blinky, and Willie to win. I said, Bucky! Captain Bucky OHare!
And now an update on Bucky OHare and the Toad Wars!
In the battle of the universe, you don't know what's next. You only know amphibians are made it complex. When you check out your scanner and the evil that it poses, there's only one course of action. Let's cook us some toads! Bucky! Captain Bucky OHare! He goes when no ordinary rabbit would dare. If your righteous indignation has suffered a hit, and your photon accelerator is broken a bit, and you're losing your mind, and you're having a fit, get the funky fresh rabbit who can take care of it. Bucky! Captain Bucky OHare! You say Bucky? I said Bucky! Bucky OHare! Let's croak us some toads!
Man, been a while since I did one of these things, so let's go ahead and crack some knuckles and get started. First things first, the 90s were awesome! We had the NES, we had the Super Nintendo, we had video game cartoons like Mega Man, Super Mario Bros. 3, Double Dragon, and Bucky OHare, which was made into a game after the cartoon aired. That green hair was my hero alongside Mega for the longest time, and for good reason. Bucky OHare started off as a comic book series in the late 70s and was adapted to TV as a cartoon that aired in 1991. The cartoon was amazing, and I have to say I had a major crush on Ginny the Aldebaran cat.
Big whoop, wanna fight about it?
The entire cartoon only consists of 13 episodes, but good doesn't mean long. I mean, let's just add Bleach.
What's that? What did you just say? How dare you mock me, you imbecile!
But this review isn't about the cartoon, so let's talk about the game, and boy is there a lot to talk about. First thing you see is the iconic logo, and you hear a little bit of the theme music. Some music that sounds like it is heard throughout the game, and it sounds like it could be from the cartoon, but it's not the original theme, and that's kind of hard to reproduce a rap song inside the game. The music is catchy and iconic of an epic quest to save the Universe from those fly-sucking toadies!
Them's magic words, Bucky, my boy. It's been too long since old Deadeye Duck got to croak some toadies!
The game plays a lot like Mega Man, even though it was made by Konami. And I thought it was a neat idea that the game gave you a choice of which planet to go to first to rescue your crew members. Until I found out that you can't rescue Jenny on the blue planet until after you rescue Blinky from the green planet. If you're going to have linearity like that, take away the illusion of choice at the stage select screen! I mean, come on! See right there? That's what I'm talking about. You can't get past her without Blinky. Gameplay is fluid, and there are a lot of power-ups in every stage to increase your life and power bars. Life power-ups will refill your missing health and add more to it. But that's only if you don't lose all your lives, because then you lose all your life power-ups and you have to get them all again. Boy, that is an annoying feature, but hey, at least you start out at the same act that you left on. That's a good thing, and that includes continues too. So you don't have to restart from the very beginning of the stage, or from the very beginning of the game, like some video games. Now after you beat a boss, you get a very nice password screen. I mean, seriously, look at this. Freaking short passwords. I mean, can the AVGN really ask for more? Well, you could always ask for more Rolling Rock, but I'm not going to say who drank it all. The game has recognizable enemies like Toadborg, Alligator, Air Marshal, the Void Droid, and this weird ball-throwing, laser-shooting toad tank thingy. Okay, so not all the enemies are recognizable. And why do we not see Bruiser, the Beetlejuicy, and Berserker Baboon in this game? I mean, really, we got Willy, Deadeye, Jenny, Blinky, Bucky. They're all there. But I guess it'd be terribly overpowered to play as a character that would strike fear into everyone except Toadborg. The one major complaint I have about this game are the projectile controls. Bucky is the only character that can shoot in 4 directions, albeit you have to be jumping to shoot downward. Jenny's special can move any direction, but it's hard to control. And Deadeye's range is suicide on boss fights. And that brings up a good question. If Deadeye is such a good sure shot, why give him a short-range shotgun type attack? I mean, seriously, you do not see him doing this in the cartoon whatsoever. In fact, he's got 2 guns. And in the game, Lily's gun is so overpowered that if you have the chance, and I mean the pure chance to charge it up, it can 2-shot most enemies. The bosses aren't that hard, and they have very similar patterns, but the learning curve for these bosses seems to get steeper as the game progresses. Take this one instance. It's a toad carrier of some sort, and it's kind of hard to tell what you shoot and what's just scenery, but anything you touch on this ship is instant death. Speaking of death, if you aren't used to platformers, prepare to die. A lot. Even if you are used to games like this, holy hell, this game isn't even fair. See that? See that right there? This is what you call bad programming. Bullets should not form a barrier between you and a platform. Getting knocked back would have been more acceptable, but stopping you from moving forward during a jump? What the hell? Oh, and there's no recovery time, so if you get stuck between a rock and a hard place, you're fried faster than a bunny in a German restaurant. Sorry, Bucky.
Thanks.
This game is frustrating to say the least, but it's a good game, and even better news, there was an arcade game released the same year by Konami. This is a good game. It's a scrolling shooter with bosses and plays like Wild Guns combined with Turtles in Time. The music is good, bosses are fun and somewhat challenging, and best yet,
banana oil.
Bruiser! Too bad you can't play as him, but the only characters you can play as this time around are Bucky, Jenny, Blinky, and Wait, does that say Duck? Just Duck? Was Deadeye too long or something? Or were they just using his race as a nameplate? If that's the case, why wouldn't they rename them as Hare, Cat, AFC, or Android, and then Duck? Well, anyway, the voice actors sound weird for the most part, but they have all the same voices of the cartoon series, all except Blinky, which seems odd. You'd think a robot voice would be easy to mimic with software or something. But this was back in the 90s, so it's kind of understandable. If you have a chance to pick up Bucky OHare on VHS, play the NES game, and if you by some miracle can play the arcade game, do it. It's worth every quarter dropped in the box.
Come on, we've got work to do.
Let's grow toads!
Alrighty. Bucky OHare, extremely fun game. Awesome.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I decided to look up the voice cast from the show. You ready for this?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I already know.
You already know?
Oh yeah.
Guess who played
I
Blinky?
Who played Blinky?
Yep.
Oh god, Sam Vincent.
Sam Vincent, yep.
Sam Vincent, Flim, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Deadeye Duck was Scott McNeil.
Chief Thunderhooves.
Who was also Proto Man.
Yep.
Al Negator was Gary Chalk.
Yes.
who I met and accidentally called Mark Oliver at
Oh!
at LPU.
More destruction of the fandom right here.
He
in
also
the final
was
draft.
he also was Commander Dogstar. But here's something I thought was interesting to see. Fricks in the show was played by Terry Klassen or Klassen. It's Klassen, sorry. Terry Klassen, if you guys don't know, is the director of the voice actors for My Little Pony. So
Yeah.
he directs them in the studio. Yeah. So he was a voice on
cool.
this show.
You know, all things considered, for the voices of cartoons for the last 20 or 30 years almost, the fruit has not fallen far from the tree as far as location.
Well, guess where they all are.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
a lot of them worked for Ocean, so a lot of people that work for Ocean tend to work for DHX. Imagine that. But no,
It's crazy to me because I know Sam Vincent and I had no idea he was in this.
a lot of people are saying Jennifer Hale. No, Jennifer Hale's not in this, as far as I can tell. But the person who played Jenny the cat is Margot, and I can't pronounce her last name.
Pinvidic.
Margot Pinvidic, and she hasn't done anything since the late 90s.
Yeah, these things happen. But I think it's fun because Gary Chalk has been in just about everything, and Scott McNeil and Sam Vincent. But it was fun to see Terry Klassen in there.
I mean, the bad things about the NES game are definitely the bullet arcs, the different bullet styles, and also the fact that if you get hit during a mid jump, you get immediately stopped. It kind of
There were
sucks.
so many limitations on that system
Yeah,
compared to an arcade cabinet.
it's. I don't know, but the arcade game is so much better just because to get the voice actors. I think Blinky's different on the arcade game. I'm not too sure. It just sounds different. It doesn't sound the same. It could be because he never once says Calamity at woe throughout the entire arcade game. Another difference I definitely notice is it plays better as a shooter, just a regular shooter, than it does a side-scrolling platformer. But the cartoon series is also great.
No. Yeah, not going to argue that.
Well, it's one of those games where if I see it, I've got an NES system, so if I see it, I'll buy it. You know.
All right, I gotta bring over the web pages and get ready for a second.
You gotta bring over the excuses. What?
Bring over the excuses. Yes.
I give Draco hell off air all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
All time, every time.
Well, that's what you have to do.
You know,
Speaking of
chat
time.
is really dead this tonight.
Yeah. But also, they're going to be livening up in a little bit. Link to the Past 2 has been in development for 2 years now. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Link to the Past 2. Okay, I don't even understand where they would go with that and how that fits into the storyline of the entire book that they freaking released. The Hyrule Historia decoded the Zelda timeline, and now they're adding another to it.
Oh, it's okay. We'll get a supplement in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll just go, screw the rules, I have coding.
God.
I
No.
mean, come on, this is Nintendo. They can ram a plot in anywhere.
That did
Damn.
not sound
You know,
good.
in our fandom, that sounds very bad.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, you... Ugh, you're
Ram
killing me.
a plot in everywhere, I'm sure.
Anyway,
we're going to go on to subject draft likes. Bargain hunting!
okay. Yeah, I saw this article. This is awesome. And I can say I've been spending a little too much time going around to different thrift stores or whatever on the hunt for NES games because, you know, when I was a kid, I'm old enough where NES was the system, and I remember playing it when I went over to a friend's house, but I never had one. So now that I'm a grown adult and I'm totally mature, I've been buying up NES stuff. And so I've been on, but I keep my eyes open for rare stuff. Like I got a copy of Contra at a thrift store for $5. Actually, Cowboy Dave was there when I found it. I mean, so you can find stuff if you look.
Yeah, if you look for it, there's probably something there. People don't know they're selling this stuff for what they're selling it for. There's a few games I've seen that I wish I had money to buy for like $20 that go for thousands.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you just go to these flea markets. People sell them for what they think it's worth. They don't sell them for what it's actually worth. So you can get stuff for really a lot of money. This
Well,
$8
the
turned into
problem, though-
$15,000.
You got to be careful though, because the other side of that is if people think they have something valuable and they don't, they'll overcharge for it anyway.
True.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, no, I go to a lot of flea markets and thrift stores and antique stores, and I've started seeing in antique stores Atari stuff appearing. Now they're considering those antiques. But yeah.
Well, they are kind of old. All right, let's move on to the Ratchet and Clank movie announcement. That was hilarious. I loved this trailer, I guess you could say.
A wondrous realm where
I don't
heroes
think it's an actual movie. I think it's just something to stir up excitement for a game. I don't think they're going to make a movie in that style.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past Insomniac.
It didn't look like high quality animation. You know what I mean? Like when they make
What?
Look, it wasn't bad quality animation, but it looked like a cutscene animation from something you'd see on a console game. It didn't look like... whenever they make a movie out of a game or something, they usually try to up the ante a little bit. I didn't see anything there that made me think, oh, wow, this is like a step up in production.
Why do they have to step it up for a movie, though? If they make it the same way they make cutscenes...
Because
I don't care. I'd still watch it anyway, even if it was game graphics, not even cutscene graphics.
John Q. Needy public person, alright? And John Q. Needy public person would want a ramped up animation style. I mean, you don't go to the theater to watch video game cutscenes. You just don't.
That's why you play Kojima games.
That's why you play excuses.
Somebody's asking for their Final Fantasy VII fix. Okay, here you go. Here's your 7 fix. You're getting Tifa Lockhart for about 5 seconds. Okay, it's done. There's Final Fantasy VII. Boom, you're done.
One of my proudest gaming memories, well, maybe not proudest, I get to brag because I'm old enough to remember it, was I was at a friend's 13th birthday party when he was playing Final Fantasy VII, and he got to the Eris scene, and it was the first time, and this is back before, the game was new enough that it hadn't gone around yet. What happens? Right. He broke down crying at his own birthday party.
Oh,
yeah, it's a horrible story, and there was a lot of controversy about if you could revive Eris or not because of certain things that happened in the game. Like the console version had a lot of limits to it, even though it was on 3 discs. It had a lot of limits to it, and they had to cut a lot of stuff out. But there were certain elements that just were hidden as well. So, I mean, if you got through the story and you don't know how to do it right, you get Eris's final weapon and also her final limit break after she dies. So
I had it before that. She was using that constantly. Her final limit break sucks. It's just a party heal.
Yeah, a little bit. Anyway, PayPal was okay.
PayPal is a butt.
PayPal kind of locked up a few accounts that got a lot of money through crowdsourcing. And
Well, PayPal's treating itself like a bank. I mean, honestly, that's how they're making their money. I mean, between interest and just the way that they're operating, they're acting like a bank in all regards.
Well,
true, but they
would monopolizing on what their service. I mean,
when you withhold someone's $30,000, that's kind of bad.
Well, they're kind of arbitrary with that system. I mean, I remember I made I think $500 off of something on eBay. They held it for 3 weeks to confirm that the money transfer was valid or whatever.
Bull crap! They held it to get interest.
Of course they did.
Oh, and not to interrupt the show or anything, but Draft, your mic sounds a little funny.
So does yours.
Funny mics for everyone.
Why no one paying attention to Ouija?
Meh.
Well, it's also a sad day in video game history because we had to say goodbye to the DS.
Yeah, this was pretty much... Continue.
No, don't continue, because that was the saddest taps I've ever heard in my life.
It's supposed to be sad.
That was horrible.
Well, the DS will always remain one of my favorite handhelds, considering Cross Country Road Trip, I got through Fire Emblem, Advanced Wars, and Golden Sun.
Now,
Golden Sun's a good game.
Before anybody says, "Oh, this is just a article saying that his DS is beyond repair," that's fine. But there's also a story that came out this week that Nintendo had projected sales of all their systems and all their current and future project systems, and the DS was not a part of that.
No, they're moving on to the 3DS.
Yeah.
Which is okay. I mean, the 3DS is fine. It's got the power behind it. Its problem is they're marketing the 3DS differently than the DS, and they're barely using the 3D capabilities of the 3DS.
Well, let's be real. They're using all the hardware of the 3DS correctly. 3D
That's
notwithstanding, they are still able to, chug out solid games like, Fire Emblem Awakening.
See, I'm wondering whether or not, I don't have the numbers to find out about this, but I'm wondering whether or not handheld consoles DS or whatever, are losing sales because of smartphones. Because people can game on their smartphones already. And it's just it's the same thing, I think, why console games are kind of decreasing in sales, because people play their major games on their computer.
To add on to that draft, back with the PSP, I don't remember what the copy of it was called for that, but the Final Fantasy I game for PSP was a full price release with Final Fantasy II on. I think it was $40.
What, the Dawn of Souls?
Dawn of Souls, and then it came out on Game Boy Advance as a full price release. I have it on my iPhone, and I got it for $7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I gotta go ahead and move on because we're running long again for some reason. I'm gonna play draft.
So much fun.
Playing draft for this one because he's a wild and crazy guy.
I'm Final Draft. I do what I want.
I do wow.
Anyway, let's go ahead and bake a cake with the Portal Cake Mix. I don't understand why they're spending money marketing this and not Half-Life 3.
Maybe it's because of the same reasoning behind, and I know that's not Valve in this case, but Angry Birds, Star Wars marketing everywhere. You get I don't know. You go to Target or somewhere, and literally you can buy plushy Angry Birds Luke Skywalker right now.
Buy one of those and throw it at you in Houston next month.
Well, between Disney raking in the cash and Rovio raking in the cash, let's be real here. Angry Birds has turned into a cash grab. Anybody who can latch onto them, be it NASA or Disney, are basically just raking in tons and tons of cash, with the Rovio guys really not caring. They got all their money.
See, I think it's I think they're experimenting, honestly. It's the first case where they are merchandising a freemium product, and they're widely merchandising it. I think it's they just invested to see what would sell.
Yeah, they're just seeing how far they can take it. We've got fruit snacks, bedding, clothing, giant plushies, board games.
It doesn't hurt that the fruit snacks are delicious.
Well, I got a question. What flavor is this cake? Is it sadness? Despair?
It's a fat. Oh crap! I had something. Dang it!
You know what you do? You take a bite of the cake, and suddenly your mouth is on the other side of the room.
Oh no!
I was gonna say it tastes like regret.
Does it taste like lemons?
I'll burn your house down.
And you might want to call a bomb squad.
You know what? That would be a nice touch if it came with a candle and it was lemon scented. That would be good.
That would be good. All right, guys, it's time to wrap this up. I do want to go ahead and just say the DS kind of hit me right. I guess you can say in childhood a little bit, even though it came out in my adulthood. Because watching a system die is just painful.
It's not dying. It's going to the 3DS. As soon as the 3DS came out, you had to know the DS's days were numbered.
It's like what happened with the GameCube and the Wii.
You're also well, let's say this. You're old enough to remember this draft. You remember this? Was it the 7200, the Atari? They played the 2600 cartridges.
Yeah, it's backward compatible.
Yeah, there were a lot of games that did that, and a lot of game systems that did that. But now backwards compatibility is more less cost effective, and it kind of sucks.
Well, they're trying to milk it for everything they can.
Yeah, they're just sending it to the old folks home to die slowly now.
Hospice.
Black Sentinel in the chat, there is a system that will last forever. It's called my PC.
Your PC's kind of dying right now, but... Anyway. Go ahead and cue up the interview. Thanks for tuning in. Please watch the interview. It's for Role Playing is Magic, a D&D clone with ponies.
Wouldn't call it a clone, but it's fun.
Alright, guys. Have a good one.
Catch you later.
Good night, everybody.